tuned in. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm your girl Millicent Onwanawara. We're back again with another exciting episode, and this time around we're not discussing the fourth industrial revolution. However, because it's the month of August, we're celebrating women, and I felt compelled that this month does not go by without me acknowledging this a very powerful woman, and also sharing with her, allowing her to share with us how she manages to do it. On my channel today, I've got the lady of the moment, Kgaugelo Matlhoko. You can hear it in the name. Chava, that she's the mother of the nation. Kgaugelo Matlhoko was born and bred in a village called Moruba, is it Moruba, right? In Moruba village in the northwest. And her academic journey began in 2012 when she was coming through to Gauteng to create the exciting life. And then she then moved from University of Pretoria into the University of the Witwatersrand. That's where she's now pursuing her journey into this B education, and she's doing quite a lot. In her journey, she started off by serving as a chairperson of the Youth of Peace in the institution, and currently she's serving as the chairperson of the Gauteng Provincial Fellowship, ZCCSF. She's also a president of TransLife 360. She's also a treasurer of Civil Institute, which is a Civil Institute NGO. She's also the founder and CEO of KM Royalty, together with Domba Women Sanctuary. Now, that's a lot, for one to be a student and at the same time do all those things. And besides her being passionate about being the leader, she's also a speaker and a visionary. She's also an advocate for quality education. Sis Kgaugelo, welcome to my YouTube channel.
Thank you so much, Mills, for this platform and this opportunity.
Yes, thank you so much. Before we get into it, maybe you need to tell, my viewers at home who you are, where did it all begin for you? We all know that you're from a village called Umurupa, but where does it all begin? Where did Kgaugelo grow up, the household and all those things? Because you're doing massive things. We want to know where you come from.
Okay. Kgaugelo Northwest, in a small village called Mohoba. It's a very, very disadvantaged small village. So, like, Millie, it was actually nice growing up there. I had an exciting childhood, and then I started school Honamo in primary until high school. I went to Motswedi High School, Honamo Northwest, and then after I completed my grade 12 in 2011, and then I applied for UP. It was exciting. A rural girl applying for UP was like, okay, is it real? Let me try. People are just do this.
Exactly.
So yeah, I got go UP, so that's where my academic journey started, go UP, and then from there I'm currently at vets at this point. So growing up at home was an exciting actually childhood, because we grew up as I was not the only child. We were like 6, 7. We had cousins. Our home was like a home for everyone. We never had that thing of feeling entitled or high. So this is my bedroom. No, like we had cousins who also felt like home. So we grew up as a one big family, and I wouldn't want to replace my childhood memories or childhood with anything except the way I had an exciting childhood. I don't want to lie, Millie.
Oh, that's so exciting. Like just by seeing it your face when you're describing everything, it's like you're getting so excited with the fact that, listen, guys, I'm from a small village, but that did not stop me from pulling a chair and bringing it over and saying, you know what, I'm doing this thing. So now I just want to get it, because when I met you, it was in 2012 in the University of Pretoria. And one thing that came across, for me, it was oh my gosh, this girl just started and said, you know what, I'll be your choir leader. And right there and then I'm like, she's still first year. What is she even doing? So now, can you just tell me, when did it all begin for you to say, you know what, I'm going to just pull a chair and create a space for myself, because nobody's going to make that space for me. I'm going to create it. How did it begin, and when did it begin, and how did it begin?
So I was so lucky to be raised by my grandmother and grandfather. They were our support throughout when we were growing up. And they instilled this kind of independence in us to say, you know what, we're not gonna be here forever. If you want for something, you have to go for it, Millie. So it's something that I my grandfather from an early age, right? So I grew up as that. I was not girlish, but you know, thing I grew up around cousins, Baba Shimane. So it was that thing. You know what? You're not gonna be a girl here. You have to toughen up. You
Exactly.
have to toughen up. You can't allow them to bully you, and then you go again, go your grandfather and say this and that. And usually when I do that, you'll be like, fight for yourself. So he did that thing from that young age. So everywhere I go, every day I carry that with me to say, you know what, I'm going to do in everything that I pursue. I am going to stand up for myself and fight for whatever that I want.
Shit.
Because no one is going
To do it for you.
You've got. Yeah, so my grandfather instilled that thing from a very, very young age, and even today I still apply that thing into my life.
That's very powerful. So I see, like, I think we're just gonna grab each and every organization that you're involved with, because when you send, so maybe I should tell the viewers at home that when I got her bio, she did not say that I led, I did. She says that she saved. You know, one thing that stuck out for me is the fact that you saying it with the sincerity, because you just kept saying, you know, I saved, I am currently saving, and I'm like, wait, now if I'm doing all these things, surely I will start off by saying something else besides saying saved, you know. And how did it now, because you're carrying your grandfather's concept of you need to fight for everything else in the world, then how did this whole leadership now come about?
It was, I think it was 2016, yeah, when I got to Wits. So it was really hard to really adjust into the environment there at Johannesburg. I was so used to Pretoria. So it took me a lot of time to actually, you know, even go to the student fellowship and get used to the environment. I would go there part-time and all that. But there was a moment where, you know, we were sitting, the ladies were like, I think choir, it started at 6 o'clock. But then we had choir conductors who did not come around that time. So what happened was, you know, I was like, we're not gonna come and stand here. Rather, let's just sing. You know, someone must provide leadership right there. You know, because we from, you know, different places to come and enjoy ourselves with music, and the people who are supposed to be leading us are late. We cannot wait, right? And we just started and be like, let's sing. Each and every one of us can lead a song. It's fine. That's why it started. And you know, there are people who actually have an eye to see that, you know what, this lady has a character of leadership. Somehow she takes initiative. So that's where it started. My journey of leadership at the Youth of Peace. That's how it started. You know, just initiating that on its own, people could see that, you know what, she actually initiated something that we actually enjoyed, rather than waiting for people to come and make us enjoy, right? So they loved the thing, and from there, you know, they actually, you know, nominated me to be one of their leaders, especially after they saw how much I love music. I'm so passionate about music. Quite like it's something that is close to my heart, and that's where my leadership, you know, started, especially at Birds. So like it was that initiative that made me, you know, that opened doors for me, or actually created a platform for me to lead at Birds.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Now we're moving from, the choir leader and being the leader of the youth of peace. Now we're moving higher. We're going to TransLife 360. We're going to KM Royalty. We're going into the Civil Institute of NGO and then Domba. Now that's different, because now you now took initiative. You like music, but this ones, they're different. What happened?
Well, it's actually not really different. Especially, let me start with this one, Youth of Peace, right?
Yes.
So I'm currently studying Bachelor's of Education, so I work with children most of the time.
Okay.
So TransLife 360 foundation which focuses on women and children, and there's a sector which actually includes everyone, right? So my passion for women and children derived from my career as a teacher. So every time, like when we work with children, you actually get to work with parents also. You don't work with children isolated, but with parents also. And I got to experience a lot of things, especially in my line of work, where you see children suffering in most of the time, because the truth is we don't come from the same backgrounds, right? And you find that children like can't even come to school because they don't have uniform, they don't have school shoes, and it's winter, they don't have jerseys and all that. And it's worrying as a teacher to see that kind of a situation happening, because every child deserves education and deserves to go to school, but some circumstances, unfortunately, like actually blocks them, so that's where the idea came from, to say, what, I need to do something. I need to take initiative and make sure that I bridge the gap and make sure each and every child that comes to school is wearing proper uniform and proper school shoes, right? So that's where the idea foundation came from the experience of me being a teacher and always working with kids. So it was more from passion. It was more from passion and my career, and it inspired me to create this sorry about that. It inspired me to create this TransLife 360, which is a foundation which focuses mainly on education and women, but we also have other programs that actually includes everyone. We mean like men. We also have other programs that focuses specifically on men, but we'll deal with that later on. But for now, we are still focusing on women and children, quality education, and women empowerment.
Yo. And now you spoke more about TransLife. Now, because of Domba Women's Century, now I see that now you are pretty much your passion lies more into kids and, even the mothers, and also women empowerment. Now plays the role of Domba Women Century. Now, if I can tell my viewers, when it started, I thought it was only book club. And then I realized that as I zoom in, there's more to this Domba Women's Century. Now, what happened? Because already there was KM Royalty, and now there's Domba Women's Century. Why did you decide to separate these two?
Okay, KM Royalty Investment is just my business. So far, I started a clothing business under KM Royalty Investment. So KM Investment is an umbrella. I have other businesses running under it, like KM Royalty Clothing, which is operating. So with again, life experience. So with Domba, it was more of looking at what is happening in the society, especially what is happening to our women and children, right? And coming from different backgrounds, we have women who want to do so much for themselves, but they are suffocating in environments which does not give them an opportunity to rise up and be who they want to be, right? So I thought, how about I start a safe place, a platform for women where they can, learn, explore, and, stretch their knowledge, like challenge themselves. Like as women, we come from different backgrounds, we have different experiences, but at the end of the day, we want to do better in every aspect of our life. So there is a sanctuary which will allow us to thrive, right? So looking at the kind of, like, we have abuse, most women are still stuck in relationships because abusive relationship, of course, simply because the guy provides for her. She does not have, she's not even working. So she's actually dependent on the man. So she's just enduring this entire process simply because the man supports and she has no any other income, right? So such things were worrying, and I thought maybe I could start something like Domba Women's Sanctuary to create that safe environment, a safe platform for our ladies to actually show them that it's possible to do it on your own. It's possible to create your own world where you're not even depending on someone else for your own happiness, for your own safety, for your own sanity as a woman. So it's actually important to depend on yourself, learn to do things for yourself. And the only way to do that, is to get into an environment that gives you opportunity to do that. So it's very hard for someone to just get out of an abusive relationship with nowhere to go. But with Domba Women's Sanctuary, we have created a safe platform for women who want to grow, who are ready to grow and, pursue and whatever that they want and thrive in everything that they do. So we started with a book club to say, you know what, let us instill the culture of reading, because through reading we learn a lot. We explore, not only exploring, we can see, we get different perspective as to how to see the world, as compared to the only experience the limited experience that we have. But reading explores you to more possibilities, more things that you are not seeing right now because of maybe where you are in life at this point. And that's how I started our book club, to say, let us read, let us explore. Not only that, but to develop ourselves. Let us grow. Let us do things which actually make us grow as women and make us more curious. Let us not, just be comfortable with the knowledge that we have. And it's very much important to actually explore and be more knowledgeable on whatever that we want to know, or whatever subject that we would like to focus on. And it was very, very much interesting to see how women, came through for this Facebook club where we discussed, things like finances. We should be independent as women. Know your finances, be responsible for your finances, to actually be able to make choices at the end of the day. You won't find yourself in debt and all that. So that's how our book club started. It's a platform where women have to grow. It's very much important, because all we want to see is women growing and thriving in all aspects of their lives. That is the main important platform, book club. And we also had ladies high tea last year. So it's September, I think on the 7th or on the 14th, it was supposed to be our yearly ladies but again high tea, but unfortunately due to COVID and all that, we cannot do that. And the numbers were we're above, and I cannot risk, and so that's another platform I created for ladies to just come, share experiences of different, professions, right? We had the chef, we had professional doctors. So we would speak of health, we would speak of, careers, we would speak of businesses, we would speak of opportunities that are there that we can actually access to make sure that we succeed in everything that we do. So it was very much interesting, because it was just beautiful having to see women from different backgrounds sharing different experiences. From that, we are learning, we are exploring, and we can see that there is so much possibilities, there is so much that we can do as women, especially if we are united. So that's basically Domba Women's Sanctuary is for.
Okay, like just listening at you, right? I can listen to you the whole day, and you know this. But just listening to you right now is, you are putting it out there to say, you know what, even if I'm a leader and I'm passionate about stuff, but the one thing that you're passionate about is serving others and carrying others to your level. Of course, right now in this very country and in the global world, there's still issues whereby women are not yet, comfortable with the idea of raising each other up. And it's a struggle of an everyday life. It's something that we slowly getting towards, and we're hoping that one day we shall get into a room whereby we all sit there and we're like, I don't spot a different person from me. I don't spot this kind of person. I don't spot that kind of person. And we start creating that platform whereby everybody, every woman can now feel included in this. With that being said, sis, how maybe it brings me to the other question, yeah, Khore. What challenges, what challenges have you met in your journey of the leadership role, starting off your businesses, and also starting off your NGOs and all those things, and also in life in general as a woman? Because the reason why I ask you is being a woman in this country is hard. But for now, let's talk about the challenges that you've met along your way, creating your NGOs, leadership roles, and starting your businesses as a woman.
Well, let me rather start with my leadership journey. It was the most challenging one, especially because it was the male-dominated area or field, especially in our society. But then I had to sit down with myself and decide whether I'm doing this or not, because it's a matter of choice, right? Because of whatever negative energy that I found or negative response that I found, especially from male that I worked with, I had to decide a choice to say, are you going to do this or not? Because if you are going to do this, you are going to you have to find a way. You know, you have to find a way to win, especially in this journey. And as hard as it was, I had to make a choice that I am doing this. I am actually even if it means I will have to stand alone, I will definitely do this because I believe so much in myself. I believe so much in myself. And another way of me using actually or lending a hand to another woman is actually by just having that kind of what others would not do. You know, it's actually showing them that it is possible. So if I decide not to do it, it means that I am actually sending the very same message to another lady to say you cannot do it. But if I stand up and do it, I'm actually showing them that you can do it. You have to decide or whether you want to do it or not. And once you decide that you are going to do it, then you'll have God will actually make a way. You know, God will make a way. And it was very hard at my first time. You know, you would find yourself in an environment where men would just find it very hard to engage with you, not only engage, to take you serious as a woman. It took me time and I had to learn how they do things, right? For me to actually create my own space, let my energy be felt, I had to learn how they do. And I did not like how they did things, you know, especially looking down on women. You know, as people, we need to look at ourselves as human beings. You know, being a woman is just a gender, a matter of gender. That does not mean that I don't have the ability to do what you can do, right? So we should view this thing, we are all humans. Gender does not have to come in the sense that, you know, I'm able, as much as I'm a woman, I'm able to do whatever I put my mind to. And as much as you are a man, you are able to put whatever you put, like to do whatever you put your mind to, right? So I tried by all means to learn the environment and decide what kind of approach am I going to approach this leadership position, because that was very much important. The approach for me was very much important. It was do or die, right? So the approach that I took was like, you know what, I am not going to fight or try to imitate how this men do things. I am going to come with my feminine energy, my womanhood energy into this field. And I'm to show them that it's possible. I will be leading. I will be this feminine, soft woman. And possible that I will be in this kind of environment, right? So that was the best choice that I ever made, to say I'm not going to copy anyone. I'm going to bring my feminine energy as a woman, lead this empire, and make sure that, you know what, through the entire journey, I am still, you know, not faithful, but actually, you know, embodying this feminine energy until the end. Because the moment I try to copy how these men do things, then I'm not making any difference. I am not actually making any difference, right? So the reason why I chose to do that was to show that as women, we don't need to respond to how people react to us, because at the end of the day, we find ourselves losing ourselves in the process, right? So if I approach this whole thing, that attitude, it's not me. It's actually not me. So that would mean that I'm losing myself in the process. But me approaching it with my feminine energy, that means that I come there with my own power, understanding who I am, and it's going to be easy for me to enjoy this journey and maneuver through this journey, and the challenges that I'm going to come across, going to approach them and deal with them in my own power, my feminine energy. I don't need to copy anyone. And really, that was the best choice I ever made, because you'd find men being so arrogant and all that, and I'll be humble. At the end of the day, I'll get the outcome that I want. The fact that I was humble did not mean I'm stupid, but that means I'm powerful in my own energy. And in my own energy, I am content, right? I don't need to be arrogant for me to be heard. No. It's not me, right? And you find that in the process, you learn how the person being arrogant, it has nothing to do with you, but it has to do with their insecurities, for the fact that, like, how come, like, it's not why hair, why not? Is there insecurities, but nothing wrong with you? So I had to learn to, discern such things, to say, oh, this is not me. This attitude it's not determined by me, does not come from me. It's them viewing things from their own lens, maybe lens of insecurities and all that. But that is not my problem. Mine is to bring my feminine energy into this environment, make sure that I lead according to the mandate that I was given as the leader. And when I live here, if it happens, like when I leave my term, I know I'm going to lead somewhere else. And I know women will also come into the very same, leadership position, and they'll be willing, actually, because they saw that in my feminine energy, I managed to run until the end of my term. You get what I'm saying? So it's more of understanding who I am and making sure that in whatever that I place, especially in the leadership position, be it of business, be it of leadership, I was myself. I was so truthful to who I am. I do not want to change my character at any point to feed or to respond to some patterns that I was not even aware of or that we found there. No, it's actually not. So knowing yourself as a woman and understanding who you are as a woman, your softness, your womanhood, your feminine energy, it is powerful on its own. It is really powerful on its own. It's just that sometimes as women, we want to respond to societal patterns that end up losing ourselves in the process. You can be, powerful in your very own womanhood, your softness, your feminine energy. You can be powerful and thrive in whatever thing you want to pursue, be it of business, be it leadership, be it whatever. You can be, powerful in that, because you are in tune, with the higher intelligence. We're speaking of, God created you understanding that you are a woman and you needed that energy to win in every aspect of your life. So when you are in tune with that energy, that means you are in tune with God, and He's able to guide you every step of the way in whatever you do. So it was more of this entire journey built my character so much, and what I've learned from that, and what I would like to say to my ladies, as I've been saying, womanhood and feminine energy is just a gift we own. Let us learn to be, proud of who we are as women. We don't need to adopt other people's patterns of doing things, because in the process we are going to lose ourselves, and it's very hard when you are lost out there. You start believing things that you actually don't know, simply because you are responding to their patterns. But rather be in tune with yourself, with feminine energy, with your womanhood, and with your softness, to say, in whatever I do, be it business, be it, I am going to thrive the way I am as a woman.
Yes. Yeah, those words are powerful. The one thing that is sticking with me right now is using your feminine energy, and the world shall respond.
That's true.
And everything shall fall into place. Now, sis, how we are in difficult times, before I move over to other questions, as you were speaking, something just came to me that we are in difficult times whereby COVID has took away most of the jobs. Most people are
Yeah, yeah.
unemployed. The woman, we're still talking about women, and apologies to all the gents out there, but I'm just dedicating this moment to women. Now, remember, with every woman, you give them umkuku or a 2-bedroom or a 2-roomed house, they will make it a home. You give a woman food, they will make, you give them groceries, they will make food. We are in difficult
That's
times.
true.
We're in difficult times. Women have lost jobs. A lot of women have lost jobs. What's your advice, and what's that piece of advice that you would give to that young child who's in varsity, that young child who's at primary school, that child who is in high school, thinking that my mother has lost her job, chances of me going anywhere else might be minimal? What's your advice to both the mother and the kids that are going through this journey of hardships where mental health is now becoming something else to them? What's your advice?
So what I can say is that, as people, we need to learn to ask for help, right? And I'm deliberately saying this because in these difficult times, we think that everyone has got it, but we need the most support ever, because we are facing so many things at this point. Let's normalize asking for help. Because in most cases, as women, we are like, no, I got it. This, like, do this, but
Yeah.
we forget that, some challenges, this is the first time this thing happens, and some of us were not prepared, right? We didn't see this thing coming, and the effects of it, they just, they have caused a negative impact in people's life. Some of them lost their jobs. They can no longer pay school fees for their children, and all. They cannot be able to support themselves on their own. So it's hard. So let us normalize asking for help. And me saying normalize asking for help is that, be open about your situation, because you never know who is listening, who can be able to help you, because not everyone is going through what you are going through, but someone in your circle has a solution for your problem. For instance, speak about your challenges, and you never know, I might give you an idea that might take you out of that situation, right? So when you are in your circle, normalize talking about your challenges, asking for advice. What can I do? If you were in my shoes, what would you do? There is more of a community where you can rely, like you are creating a sisterhood where you can rely no matter the situation, but whether be it in good times or bad times. Let us normalize that. That's how we create sisterhood and a safe place for all of us. So it has taught me that, actually, COVID-19 has taught me that, because we are thriving and thinking that, we can do it on our own, but that is maybe we cannot do it on our own. We need help, we need support. So as a young woman out there, or as a mother, learn to speak about your challenges, because of there's someone next waiting with a solution to your problem. Be it a proposal of, I can give you 500, you can start a business. Maybe if you like baking cookies, well, like, you can be creative. If you like to sell something, like, I can just lend you 500, so as a startup, so that when you can feed your children, right? So asking for help, it's actually very, very important, in a sense that there's always that someone has a solution. Because in most cases, you think, someone might give me a job, but someone might give you an idea, a practical idea to help you survive in the process. Yeah, this whole COVID-19, because as people, as mothers, as children, it has affected us negatively. So being able to solve out your problem, be open. Like, no one is going to judge you at this point. We are all experiencing challenges, but when you open, be open to people next to you, and you might find out that's where your help is. When you are quiet, we thinking you are okay. You can be able to share how we are surviving. That knowledge will help you this, will actually help you survive in this COVID-19. Like the tips that, no, you don't have to pay this anymore, cut your budget, learn to do, like, prioritize 1, 2, 3, 4. That is very much helpful, because at some point we were not aware, but when someone else shares how they survive, Lord, now we start to apply the very same advices in our lives, and it works, and we are all surviving. So as women, let us normalize asking for help. It's very much important.
Normalize asking for help. Use your feminine power, your feminine energy. Guys, I am taking notes and I'm like, I don't know, hey? There's so much homework I need to do after this. Now, Kgaugelo, you know what? We can go on for days, but there's one thing that you touched that I feel like we need to touch on, because the current today's world is moving into the digital world and digital age.
Yes.
And social media is taking part, you know? Social media is influencing people. Social media is taking over people's minds, body, and spirit. And as you were talking prior to the fact of us talking about the people who are impacted by this COVID, you mentioned something about being content, being able to sit down and ask yourself, how do I contribute to where I am, and try follow through the route, and everything shall follow together. And eventually God will reveal some of the things to you. Now we're living in social media times. People are only seeing what's portrayed to them, because you're right when you say that people don't talk because people believe that it's okay to portray a different face to Kgaugelo, and Kgaugelo is gonna buy it. And people are just living in miserable times because social media is taking over. I want you to just elaborate a bit. I just want you to elaborate back, because it's sticking with me, this whole notion of being content and being understand your purpose, if I can say that, and following in the route of being yourself altogether at the end of the day, so that you can allow God, you can allow yourself to go through the process and everything shall fall into place. Now, sis, how? You need to tell me here. How do these people now fall into this notion of understanding their purpose? Because right now, one thing that I'm seeing is not everyone wants to go through the process. You get what I'm saying? We don't want to go through the hardships, but we want to win at the end of the day. You have Domba that is growing. You have Translife that is growing and has plans. You also have KM Royalty that is growing and having plans. How do you keep it content? How do you keep it all together? How do you make sure that the outside noise does not get to you and say, I feel like I'm not there. You know, you're like for example, going into your journey of university. You are right now content with where you are and trusting the process. But somebody out there is like on a hurry because they're thinking by this age, I needed to have my Ferrari, but it's not there. The shortcut is there. How do you keep content, and how do you keep yourself, you know, away from the noise, even though you're on social media once a day or twice a day or 3?
Well, you touched a very a sensitive, not sensitive, but you know what, it's touchy, because most people are going through it. So let me start by saying, allow yourself to go through the process. We love results as people. We love the win, but the process is where everything is. That's where the treasure is. That's where your character is being built. That's where God gives you wisdom. You know, that's where, you know, the treasure is. But we don't love hardships. We just want things to flow. But the problem is, once things flow, you don't have what it takes to take care of whatever or to manage what is flowing, but rather learn to enjoy and go through the process. And I'm deliberately saying this because at the time I was going through the process, I was forever trying to say, God, why me? You know, I'm coming from a background, we are not not well off, right?
Mm.
To some extent, I'm the hope to say, one day she will come back with a degree, right?
Mm.
But I had to go through the process, and the process thereof that I went through in the first, a university experience was my knowing myself, being able to be content with who I am, right?
Mm.
I am, who am I as Kgaugelo? Can you stand through the winds and still say, I'm Kgaugelo now? Or you just gonna go, you start questioning who you are as an individual. So it was more of a process of know who you are and be firm, because when things are nice, we like, everything is nice. You don't get to like learn about anything. Like, you just go with the flow. Everything
Can
is
I
nice.
can I interject? Can I interject in there when you say when
Yes.
things are nice? When things are nice, we get to be saying to God that let your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. But then when hardships come, your will, we questioning.
We
Yeah?
question it. We question. Rasola Mudim and say, why me? Why this? Why that? Instead of asking God, give me the patience to endure, because I know through this process there is something valuable that I'm going in my destination, or why saving my life. So I am so grateful for that festival, for that university experience, because it was not only university experience, but it was more personal experience. When we are always surrounded by people that you, especially from home, you're always depending, or I've got my mom, my grandparents, that I'm sorted. But then God will take you away from that environment, put you somewhere where you have no one, right? But except people by university, you make them your family. But then He wants you to be alone, right? Alone in a sense that He wants you to be who you are, right? Away from people that you find comfort in, away from people that you always, whenever something's wrong, you're like, mama, this and that and that. But now it was time for me to like go through this process of, challenges. It was that my first academic journey go UP was the worst, but I'm so grateful for it. It was the worst, and I'm so grateful for it. I was in a sense of, what, nothing was making sense. Really, nothing making sense. I would see myself going to university every day, but the challenges like came packing each and every. I'm like, okay, what is happening? I've got a test. Yes, I've got a test. I've got to study. I cannot rent. Like there were so many things going on at that point in time in my life, and it was getting to know, okay, God, I don't understand. My peers have got bursaries, and the things are running smoothly. What is happening with me? And in that process, God taught me prayer. That was the process. Mujimu taught me to pray. And in prayer, that's where we find, guidance as to, okay, go to this office. Tell them about your situation. You might find help there. Through prayer, we find wisdom, we find guidance, we find knowledge, we find, we actually find people who are supposed to help us in that but the mistake that we do as people, once things go west, what we do, we go to other people and say, but this and that is not going, but you are not consulting the right one, which is God, and God will bring the right people into your life who will actually help you about the problem that you are going through. And the process, we must learn to pray and trust the process, and understand that Mudimu knows what you are going through. God knows what you are going through, and pray you must understand us. When you say, let your will be done, at this point, we are just vessels, and He will use us the best way He knows how. But at the end of the day, the glory will be for Him. At the end of the day, people glorify his name. But the thing is with us as people is that we could glorify you too much, but we don't want to go through the process. Too afraid of the process, but we want to be glorified, we want to be validated, we want to be complimented, and that's where we lose it. Rather enjoy the process, because there is someone out who's waiting for your testimony to survive their own process, to enjoy and survive their own hardships. If you don't go through, and then who's going to be a helping hand to those who are going through hard times if you have no idea about what struggle is? You get what I'm saying? So we must learn to go through the process. And everything has its own time. Everything has its own season. We have different, like we have different parts mobile pillow. You find for Millie, I don't have a job at this time, and it's okay. And my friend is doing well. That's okay. That's her season. I don't know what she went through before she got her job or she graduated. I want to compare my chapter with chapter 20, which is very wrong. But rather let us be content. It's very, very much wrong. Let us be content with our season to say, in this season, there's something that I must learn that will help me in my chapter or the next chapter that I'm going through. But we cannot just want to succeed in every chapter. But like, God must actually be able to build our character, equip ourselves through the whole process, because that's where the treasure is. We don't like it, yes, it's fine, but that is where the treasure is. You need to win chapter 20, you have to go through that. Chapter 20 needs the very same character that you learned or that God actually instilled in you in chapter 1. So we must learn to be content with where we are. I might be winning in some sector or when like you can't compare your chapter 1 with my chapter 20. You don't know what I went through until I get to my chapter. So embrace, learn to accept, and learn to, trust for Mudimu. When he promised something, it's going to happen. It doesn't matter timeline. When he said something, it's like with him, all things are possible. You don't have to doubt. You don't have to doubt. And once you are content with yourself, you are able to celebrate everyone else who is celebrating around you without even feeling jealous. You are able to celebrate their season because one day they'll be with you celebrating your winning season as an individual. So let us just be content, be content. And we don't understand, Milene, for every season, be it of hardships, it's an inspiration to someone who is lost, you know. And I'm saying this because I want people to be content in every season. Be in tune with that season. Don't let it swallow you. Be present. Be in a sense that, when you are going through something, try to have a positive, energy, not only positive attitude. Let me put it that way. In a sense of, you ask yourself, what am I learning? What has changed since I'm in this whole situation? What has changed? Did my character change in any way? It's going to help someone else in the future, and you learn so much about yourself while you are in hardships, right? Because when things are going well for us, we don't pay attention. We are not present. We are just forever celebrating, and we are not paying attention. We are not being present. But when you're going through hardships, you are being able to be, but I have improved. I used to behave in this manner, but this process actually built my character in a sense. I need to be disciplined as an individual. I don't need to be all over the place. I need to be disciplined, because this journey asks me to be disciplined. And in being disciplined, God can actually give you direction, because it starts with us. God doesn't give us direction. He wants you to have direction first. Be decisive as an individual. Decide the kind of life that you want to live. And once you have decided, He'll definitely hold your hand and walk with you. It's something that we miss. We're thinking what God will just bring everything, but no. We have to make a choice. He has blessed us with the authority of making choices about our lives. And once we decide, and once we make decisions about our lives, that's when He can come in to say, okay, that's the direction Millie is moving. Then I can start paving a path so that she succeeds. She has, be it of business, be it of academics, that's how God works. You take initiative as a person to say, you know what, God, because I've had enough of this kind of life. And then once you've had enough of the certain life that you are living, that means you've got to make a decision as a person to say, now I've got enough. That means I'll have to do things differently. This is what I need to change. And you only realize such things in the process of pain and challenges. At you don't even pay attention. You're not even present. So let us learn to embrace the season that we are in and learn as much as we can, because what you are going to learn will be helpful to those who will be in their chapter 1 after you move. So that's how we serve our purposes.
Yeah, listen to that. Now, if that does not summarize the woman month for you, I don't know what else you're looking for, because this powerful woman here just said to us that listen, where you are right now, embrace where you are. It's not going to be forever. Even though it looks like it's a long journey, you haven't been outside. COVID is just taking the most out of you. It's not going to be forever. It is just a phase where you needed to understand how to embrace yourself, how to embrace the current situation. And you just reminded me of a book called The Power of Now, and that book gets me. Sometimes it gets me excited, but sometimes I look at myself, I'm like, geez, guys, sometimes we lived through phases where you're like, only if I could sleep and just wake up, sleep and wake up until the storm is over, then I'll be fine. But what you just said now is understanding that you will not be in this position forever. Where you're going, you just need to keep knowing that we are headed there and we will get there.
Yes.
No matter how many stop signs we're going to get along the way as we drive, no matter how many potholes we're going to come across, no matter how many road closure signs are we going to come through. But what matters the most is how we still continue after changing 6 tires, petrol running out and having to refill. Sometimes when you check at the money is not there to refill, but this car needs to get to Cape Town at the end of the day. You know what?
And speaking of that, you asked me about the social media, and this is the hard time, really, especially during the COVID-19. And this is the time where we find ourselves using social media more than ever because we are working from home, So we must really be careful of the kind of energy that we consume in social media because this is serious. Like when you open a post, there's an energy that embodies you at that point.
Yeah.
It's either you become sad or happy or disturbed. Like there's some energy. There's some energy you need to understand. So it's very much important to be aware, be very much aware. If you are following a page that only brings you disturbance in your mind, unfollow it, remove it, because we are speaking of your mental health. And if your health is disturbed, that means the positive energy, the positive thoughts are actually ruined by the kind of experience or whatever things that you continue to consume. Because everything we don't only consume with amounts, but we also consume our mind. And what we are thinking, the energy that we give to this life. So in our social media, we need to be very intentional. It's your space. Protect it. Use it wisely. To create positive, because once you plant something positive, you are definitely going to reap something positive.
Yes.
But once you continuously plant negative things, negativity will forever surround your life because that's the energy that you carry each and every day. So I was just wanted to share this actually since we are in COVID-19 and we use our social media going to our current situation or whatever, but we really need to be careful. Be careful as to what we are consuming, especially in social media.
Exactly. Because you know what, just when we're talking about social media and being careful of what we share, I mean, you cannot be looking forward to being the next successful, I'm going to create an example, Miss SA, and you're busy following how to get away with murder. I mean, seriously.
Imagine, like it's
I mean, seriously, you want to get to being successful and being Miss SA. You want to understand how the world of Miss SA works. Besides that, you want to know the current affairs and what's happening and how people are changing the world. And at the end of the day, you reading something that is contradictory to what you want to get to. I think that's the message we need to portray home, overall, to say the energy you consume is where you want to go. If you want to get to Cape Town, you cannot be reading magazines about Thailand. while you headed to Cape Town.
Yes.
I mean, when you get to Cape Town, you need to know what's on your itinerary list to say, I'm going to get there and go to Table Mountain and do this. But if I'm sitting here, I'm like, I'm driving to Cape Town. Meanwhile, I'm searching about Thailand and I'm getting to Mauritius. Then I'm not in the moment. I'm just going there because, exactly, I'm just going there because people are going or I'm supposed to, but actually I want to go to Thailand.
Yes, you're not even showing that you are prepared for Cape Town. You need to know when I get to
Exactly.
Cape Town, what do you want
Exactly.
to achieve? How
Exactly.
many sites do I want to visit? What is it I'm going to learn there?
Exactly.
How is Cape Town going to take me to Thailand? What opportunities from Cape Town will take Thailand? But once you're all over the place, that means you are not really sure.
You might
have chance.
exactly.
And I don't think the results will actually be.
I think you might as well stop at Bloemfontein and just ask yourself, am I even prepared to go to Cape Town, or should I just go back to Gauteng and listen to my inner being to say, hey Joe, are we going to Cape Town? Are we going to Thailand? Are we going to Mauritius? Because like you said, every place where we're going, we need to understand what is required of us when we get there. You know,
that is true, Millie.
I can't be going to Cape Town. Meanwhile, I don't know what's happening in Cape Town. I don't even have the money to go to Cape Town. But I'm just saying, you know what? God says I will be in Cape Town. So let me just go with this petrol that I have. You don't even know how many kilometers to Cape Town. I mean, seriously, guys.
And none of the process, we always, misinterpret whatever. Like, we're always misusing God, actually, Millie.
Yeah.
Because the reality is, our life operates like in principle. So if they said you are going to be in Cape Town, that means in the meantime, you need to budget. Or in case some opportunity in Cape Town, then I need to have money for my ticket. You need to familiarize yourself with in Cape Town. Learn the culture, learn the, the environment. What kind of environment is Cape Town? Then, okay, when I get to Cape Town, what is it be able to do best here? What is it that I can learn? How can I explore myself and this entire Cape Town? How can I grow? But we just wait and say, put it like a Cape Town. And that is not the reality. You need to prepare.
True.
When you are given the vision, you are actually being given a platform to make choices that will take you to the vision that you are given. You are not going to be given a vision. No. Conduct your thinking, way of thinking. But then you'll forever say Cape Town until Cape Town imuvela somewhere else. Or why change?
Exactly.
If you are not prepared, Millie, you'll
Exactly. Thank you so much, Sis Howard. I think we can be here the rest of the day. And right about now, the viewers at home, the three most things are you need to embrace your feminine energy. Secondly, you need to be content in the moment that you're in. And thirdly, prepare for what you're looking forward to. Because if you want to get to Cape Town, like we said in the example, but practically, if you want to own multiple companies, how are you preparing for when those companies start happening, when those companies are coming? And, lastly but not least, says Kgaugelo, you mentioned that, in the preparation of us getting to being a multi-millionaire or wherever that we want to be as people, we need to embrace the process. We need to embrace the challenges, because at the end of the day, they build character to what we are we are headed towards. Now, says Kgaugelo, in closing, what would you tell the 10-year-old Kgaugelo, the younger self?
I would like to say to her, Kgaugelo, the 10-year-old, I am so sorry for not listening to you or actually embracing what you wanted to embrace at that point. But instead, You actually chose to live a life simply because you were responding to circumstances. But to a 10-year-old child out there, I would like to say embrace the moment, because there are some moments that I miss simply because I had circumstances were different at that point, and I had to, make choices that actually at that point didn't before time, right? So, but the baby in me, I promise Kgaugelo that the little child in me, I'll continue to listen to her and embrace and celebrate her. That's what I can say.
And to the Kgaugelo that's sitting in that chair right now, what would you say to her?
Okay, the Kgaugelo sitting here today, I would like to say, you know what, I am so proud of you. You managed to overcome so many things, and here you are today. Now you can see why you went through all that you went through. So continue to be who you are, continue to be grounded in God, continue to be grounded in purpose, and be intentional about your decisions. So that's what I can say to her.
And to the women in South Africa, as we're closing this month of 2020, the hardest of the months, because we've lost many icons in this country. Yesterday, we lost the one and only Chadwick, and who was our Wakanda of note. What would you say to the women today of South Africa? Of the country, actually, of the women of the entire worldwide.
The entire world. I would like to say, women, don't sleep on yourself. Only if you knew the power that you have. Like, don't sleep on yourself. Work on yourself. Learn, want to know who you are as a woman, so that you are able to serve your purpose, so that you are able to pursue whatever that you want to pursue, because you are powerful, you are beautiful, you are wonderful. You are a multiplier in every space that you get into. You are a restorer. So there is no way you can lose in whatever that you want to do. So don't sleep on yourself. Wake up. Do something about your life. Speak life into your life. Speak prosperity, speak success, speak big things. Don't even belittle yourself, or don't doubt yourself. Be confident and pursue whatever that you want to pursue.
That's about it. And from my side to you, Sis Kgaugelo, thank you so much for this opportunity. And my message to you is keep serving. Keep being unapologetic with who you are. Keep rising, keep roaring, because at the end of the day, you're preparing yourself for a Cape Town and a Thailand that you are yet to get there and say, you know what, as I'm in Thailand, I can actually fly over to Mauritius. Thank you so much, Sis Kgaugelo, for your time, and happy Women's Day.
Thank you.
That was Sis Kgaugelo for us, our medium president. That's what we call her. And to my viewers at home, thank you so much for watching this. In this Women's Month, I'd like to say you're a woman, and that's your superpower. From me to you, it's goodbye for now. Mwah. Bye, sis.
Bye.